All right, everybody. Very, very excited to have these two guys with me. Ever since A Reel and a Beer started, a lot of people were asking, we're going to do a sports spinoff. Well, we're doing sports. It's not truly a spinoff from A Reel and a Beer. This is its own origin. We came up with the concept. Josh Abercrombie here, Shannon Wood right here. We came up with a concept of coming up with a separate channel, and it's going to be called Average Joe Sports Talk. This is our very first show. This is going to be an origin show for the three of us. We're going to talk about why we came together, a little bit what got us into sports, how we feel when we watch sports and why we do this. So before I go any further, I want to introduce Shannon Wood right here. Known Shannon for a long, long time, 93 maybe?
Yep, that's right.
Somewhere around in there. Huge Gator fan. He and I have been to several Gator games. Was it the 08? No, yeah, 06 championship.
Yeah.
I think we went to 10 games out of 12 for 13 that year.
That's right.
Which was pretty special. Can't say enough good things about Shannon. Super knowledgeable guy. He is a Gator like myself. But then anytime you got a yin, you got to bring in a yang. That's where Mr. Josh Abercrombie comes in. Josh is one of those guys, and people know me on Facebook know how much I go at the Alabama fans and call them Bammers and whatnot. Well, Josh is not a Bammer. Josh is an Alabama fan. He's a very knowledgeable fan. I think that's why he's sitting here with us, because he's earned my respect. Even when we get real heated on Facebook chats, Josh is one of those guys that never loses his cool. He just hits you with facts. He actually embarrasses a lot of people who oppose Alabama, but he does it with facts, not just screaming at them and things. He's a very, very in-depth, knowledgeable fan. I can't say enough good things about him. So glad he came on with us. I didn't know if he would.
I appreciate you asking me.
I reached out to him, and he jumped on board. And so a little bit what we're going to do right now is we're going to kind of introduce ourselves and talk about the show. The show in general, we're going to do two shows weekly. One on Wednesday night. It's going to air live on Facebook Live at 6:30. As soon as it's over with, we're going to upload it immediately to YouTube. That show is going to be a prediction show for a couple local high school games that's real big in the area that mean something, and ones that's major across the state, such as this week when you have Hoover playing Pinson Valley. So that's a major game. We'd definitely touch on that one and hit on who's playing, the players, things like that. We're also going to be heavy SEC football, which I think everybody watching this video is going to be on board with that. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that, and we're going to give our predictions. We're going to dive into the games, and just be honest. We're just going to tell the truth, who we think is going to win, why, and give facts about it and give opinions about it. With that being said, we're going to follow that up with a recap show on Sunday that covers the games that we talked about on Wednesday night, the high school games and the college games. And after we do a quick recap of what happened that week, and we're not going to dive into the next week's game, we're going to immediately go into our fantasy football talk, which is major now. It's one of the main reasons people watch NFL. We're going to go into football, who to start, who to drop, who to pick up, maybe somebody you wouldn't even thought of. We've got CBS website where we can keep up with the up to the second updates, and maybe it'll help you guys with your fantasy. We're also going to do NFL predictions at that point on Sunday morning. That show is going to air live on Facebook Live at 8:30 a.m., which is very early. But we want to get it out of the way for all you guys that's going to be going to church, and we definitely appreciate that. Without that much more introduction, straight into our origin show here. I know I've talked a lot, but I'm going to kind of lead us off, and I'm going to ease into these guys. When I think of football in general, Friday nights especially, Friday is one of those days where I think everybody in this room can't wait to get off work. You get home, you fly home, get your shower, get ready, and you're out the door. We're going to a high school game. I think that goes for all of us. It's something we've done since living in a small town. Like we grew up in Gadsden or Tala. One of the old Etowah games, even when I was a kid, it's like, it kind of takes you away, man, to this other place. I grew up super poor in Bradley Apartments. They had no money in anything, but my mom would scrape up some money and let me go to an Etowah game, and it was just like an escape for me. I didn't have money to go to college football then, and you get to hear the band, and you see the fans, and nowadays I get to see all these people I graduated with, all these people that I played ball with in high school, and it's just a good time. And now I bring my kids, and they enjoy it. Lily screams and hollers when we go to games. She loves the bands. It's just a good, wholesome feeling, and it gets you in the mood. it's it's basically the kickoff for a weekend worth of football, which is a great way to start it. And then when you get in your car and you're on your way home, you listen to and God bless their soul, the two country guys with the call-in shows, and then you get the great local guests that get on there and Hatchie had a good football team, all that kind of stuff. And but I love it though, man. I mean, you make fun of them, but you can't stop listening to them. And I love those guys. But then you wake up early Saturday morning, and I've done this with Josh and with Shannon several times. We go eat breakfast together, and it's a camaraderie, and we talk about the games coming up, who we'd take, in our college pick'ems, and why we would take them, and then and here you are at 11 a.m. and you're watching football till 11 p.m.
11 at night.
Yeah, I mean it's 12 hours of football, and it's over and over. And then if your team wins, you're on cloud nine and you're happy all week. And if your team loses, I mean it's just like you lost a family member. And here lately, me and Woods has lost several family members.
Yeah.
We've struggled, man, the last few years. That's why we get a breath of fresh air now. We'll get into that a little bit later. But and then for myself, I go to bed that night, and you think you're footballed out, but then as soon as your eyes open that next morning on Sunday morning, you're like, let me get my roster set, my fantasy, before I go to church, and let me get my team set, so I ain't got to worry about that, and then kind of keep updates, and then you worry about. Me personally, I'm worried about what the Packers are doing, and then you're back in that same routine. You're watching football. You go to church and you go eat, and you listen to it on your phone, keeping up the scores, watching your fantasy app. But to me, that's what football's all about. And this is a sports channel, but it's heavy on football. So we're going to. I'm gonna kind of end it there, and I'm gonna kick it over to Woods and let Woods to talk a little bit about how he feels about it and why we come up with this show.
Like Bo said, it's with my family. I'm married and I have 3 kids, and for our family on Friday nights, it's a big deal. We go, I think in the past 3 years, we've missed maybe 2 Etowah football games. Big Etowah guy, went to Etowah, graduated from Etowah. Big Gator fan. Bo and I, like he said, we've been to a lot of games. There's been times that when we were younger, before we got married and had kids, we'd have $100 in our pocket, and we would literally load up and go down there and maybe not eat the rest of the week. I mean, like, ramen noodles or something the rest of the week just to watch the Gators. We've gone down there and turned around and come right back several times.
What about when you bid on the FSU tickets at time?
Yeah, that's
goofing off.
That was the 06 season when we'd already been to probably 6 games, and I was on eBay one night just messing around. I said, hey, dude, I'm going to bid on these tickets. They were, I don't even know how much they were, but we wound up winning, and that was on Friday night, right?
Yeah. You was just goofing off and bid.
Yeah, we bid, and we actually won, so we
both had to work Saturday.
Yeah.
He was like, oh,
yeah, so we just took off. We just took off and went. We're very passionate. And the great thing about that is we didn't just go to the swamp. We've been to nearly every – he may have actually been to every SEC stadium. I'm still missing a couple there, but we've been to several. We've had some trips. There's no doubt about it. There's been some crazy trips, but along the way we've grown as good friends, and I'm glad to have Josh in here too. He is knowledgeable, and he tells you, I don't know him as well as Bo does, but he is knowledgeable. Just sitting at the table and talking to him, you can tell he knows what he's talking about. I like to think that if when you say Shannon and Bo, you probably think Gator fans. But I'd like to think that at the same time, if you talk to us about your team, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, that we could give you maybe not as in-depth knowledge as you could, but we can have a normal conversation with you and kind of talk about both teams. And that's always been our goal for us to be that way. But again, we're passionate about Gator football. I mean, when it comes right down to it. Pro football, Jaguars. I'm from Gainesville, Florida. Jacksonville Jaguars came along in 96, 90.
They was, yeah. They
Somewhere
came in right
around
when, I think it was 95.
Yeah.
And then I remember Carolina actually made the playoffs and played at Pac 96.
That's right. That's right. When Brunel and all them were down there,
yeah.
Kenny McCardell. And now I'm a huge Jaguars fan. They're doing well right now. But I'm also a player guy when it comes to NFL. I mean, a lot of Gators, obviously. Actually, I used to be a huge Cowboys fan because I love Emmitt Smith. So hopefully we can, in our normal everyday talk, put this on camera. You'll enjoy it. We'll have, like he said, we'll have some question and answers throughout the show. And
fan interactions was going to drive the show.
We want that fan interaction. We want everyone gets on Bo's post, so you see the fan interaction. We want it to be, intelligent conversation that doesn't lead down darker paths. We don't. That's not what we're here for. We're not. If that's what your goal is, then we're probably not the show you want to tune into and comment on. That's just being honest with you. And we have lots of friends out there, and we don't want it to cost us a friendship. I don't know that it ever has actually cost us any friendships. Maybe
Some crazy stuff said.
Yeah, we're not about that. This not what this show is for. We want, my daughter's in 8th grade at Etowah Middle School, and some of her buddies. I want them to tune in. The kids that are just getting into really watching football. Yep. I want them to get in here and watch and see intelligent football talk. I mean, we're not always going to agree. I mean, that's not how it's going to work out. But it's fun. It builds friendships, and that's what we want to do with this channel: fan interaction, intelligent conversation, enlighten us on stuff. I mean, there may be something we say on here that you don't agree with, and that's okay. Put it on our page. Tell us, hey, we want this to be for everybody, not just ourselves. I guess is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Well,
Josh.
Well, I would like to refer to myself as the perfect storm of an Alabama fan. I grew up, my cousins, I think I was the only Alabama fan. My cousins were all Auburn fans. So Iron Bowl Saturday was very important to me because if Alabama didn't win, I got it 365 days. And, growing up, if it was not Alabama, I didn't like it. And that's the way I was for a long time. And I joined the Marine Corps when I graduated high school in 1999. And I'll never forget it. Football season rolled around. It was my first year away from Gaston. And funny thing happened, I started hearing people from up north who were playing SEC teams. They were just dogging the SEC. And I found myself taking up for teams like Tennessee and LSU and, believe it or not, Auburn, And so it quickly became, hey, I love Alabama, but I also love the SEC. And I believe that's around the time that the SEC chant started. I was reading something the other day about the SEC chant. And I take a lot of pride in that, that the SEC is the only conference that when they're playing out of conference, they will chant SEC. And that tells you what kind of pride people take in this conference. And it means a lot, Like Bo said, when your team loses, especially if you've got that 11 o'clock kickoff, it's hard to enjoy the rest of the day. But if you got the 11 o'clock kickoff and you win, you can enjoy the rest of the day. So, but like Bo said, I am an Alabama fan. When we do lose, I don't know how to deal with it. But I try to stay humble because Saban's not going to be here forever. And I've told people that, if you're an Alabama fan, this is what it was like in the 60s and the 70s. And, I heard a lot of old men talking about when Bear Bryant was coach, and I'm living that with Coach Saban. But so not only do I love Alabama football, I love the SEC. And really I love college football in general. I am a Packers fan, and I love fantasy. And I am a players guy too. I love Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's my man right there.
He's the best in the world, so go ahead.
I truly believe, and I may get some flack for this because I know Brady's got the rings, but I think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I've ever seen.
He's the best quarterback I've ever seen.
But
I say that firmly.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure we'll get comments on that.
Yeah.
We welcome that.
That's why we're here.
Change our minds. But if you have not watched a highlight video, I'll urge you to go check it out.
Yeah, he's unreal.
I think he is the most talented quarterback probably ever.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, that's me. I just love football. I love the feeling that comes along with it. fall. I mean, cooler weather, football.
Nothing like it, man.
Man, there really is nothing like it.
Nothing like it. I mean, you can say basketball all you want, but by the time football's over with, and I love basketball. It's my favorite sport that I played. It's my, growing up, I love watching basketball, but there's nothing like those fall Saturdays.
Yes.
And it kind of bleeds over from Friday and over into Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But the core is that fall. The grill's going.
Yes.
Your buddies are there. It's camaraderie. It's fun. You got people in sync.
I mean, you got
nerves going on.
You got husbands that are killing themselves in the month of July and August to get stuff done before football kicks off.
That's right.
I mean, you got to clear that schedule.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you're not from Alabama and you're watching this, I mean, everything you've heard about the SEC football is true.
And I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm not joking when I tell you this. It happens every single year. There will be siblings shoot each other during the Alabama and Auburn game.
Yeah.
That happens every single year. I just got to where I'm numb to it. I don't even react to it anymore. It's just like, hey, this guy in Opelika shot his brother. He's an Alabama fan over the game. I'm like, really? But you think that, but it happens every year.
Having been from Gainesville, it is different up here because Florida State, Florida, Georgia is huge. And I can remember being, this will date myself here, but I can remember being 6 or 7 years old, leaving the Gator Bowl after Georgia beat Florida, and Milli Vanilli. It's a tragedy for me to see the dream over. It came on the radio and I bawled my eyes out, dude, because that's the passion I have for Florida football, basketball too, all that. But coming up here, everybody has that passion. It's insane. The Alabama and Auburn, I mean, there's fist fights. I mean, these kids are like, you have to step in between people. You're like, dude, really? I mean, But that's what makes it fun, really, not the fighting part of it, but the
passion.
The passion, yes, the passion's insane. It is. And then you drag in some of our Tennessee buddies, and we're right here central located, so you get a little bit of everything in the SEC, and it's cool. It's cool to see, man.
I love it. I love having fans from other schools come watch games.
Yes.
You got anything else, Josh?
No, I'm looking forward to a great season. I think it's going to be a great season.
Guys, we are going to upload all these videos on YouTube instantly. This one's going to drop on YouTube first, and then, of course, we're going to launch on Facebook. So please hit the subscribe button below. Please hit the bell beside it because you're going to go ahead and get the notification as soon as we drop a video. This is Average Joe Sports Talk. We're out.